They couldn't get listed on exchanges because the exchanges are not working with securities. So super successful, but now the investors are screwed over because they don't have any liquidity. Although every regulation was passed and everything was secure, this is what happened in the end of the day. So the market isn't ready for such type of assets, I think.
First of all, my opinion doesn't matter because I'm just I'm not a lawyer, so low disclosure. Don't take this as an advice. But as a user and as a libertarian, I would not say we need more regulation for the love of God. Do less regulation. That'd be nice because just to touch your point, you will not go to jail if you're not breaking any laws, and if the law is not there to punish you, then don't worry about it because it's legal. So that's that. Then the other one is asset token. Well, asset coming from the financial services. Asset means a lot of things. Is it real estate? Is it a bond? Is it a stock? Is it commodities? In the US, you have the SEC for securities, and commodities is the CFTC. So there's a lot of different laws. And I'm not an expert again on this, but it really depends on what the structure is. Is it dividend? Is it share of the company, etc., etc.? So that's the other point. And the third point is I think it's a matter of maturity of the market, because my belief is that in any event, and no, you don't need more laws, because most of the times it's just about using common sense and say there's already laws in place, and try to figure out what is this doing and how does it fit in the already existing law. There's just trespass it. So I think there's going to be a migration on the laws. And then the last point would be, well, precisely because the ICO market has been a bit wild. 2 years ago, you only have an idea and you go IPO directly and this is not how the normal market goes. You know, there's a maturity in the business cycle. You go from seed investing to VC to private equity to listing, and perhaps the next step is probably to have different types of ICO seed, ICO VC, ICO PE, and ICO IPO. So I guess that's probably a question of maturity. At least that's my 2 cents on it.
Of the market maturity, yeah, okay. So thank you for that. So asking you back as a businessman, why did you then stay in Switzerland or choose Switzerland? I don't know exactly. What were the reasons for that?
Well, it was kind of already mentioned this morning, but essentially it's the philosophy of, am I being protected? Is the law going to change or not? Is this a banana republic or not? There is very mature markets in terms of regulation, but still they keep on making more and more and more and more, and you don't know what the political clout is going to do, and are they going to swing depending on the popularity of populism at this point or not, or is there really kind of like a constitutional guarantee of, at the very least, private property is going to be held? And then 2, of course, taxation is very important, because regarding of how do you see it, right? It's always part of your labor that is being used for someone else. So if 100% of tax is slavery, then at what percentage it's not theft anymore? From a business, private sector, hardcore type of view, that's you want to go to the lowest taxation. That's almost like your duty to make money for your shareholders. And this is not a bad thing, okay? This is just because a lot of the private sector people like me would think that private sector is more efficient at deploying capital and resources than the public sector. Now, we might be wrong, but then that's a question of belief. So, why? Because in my honest opinion, the tax is more transparent. The laws are pro-business, so it's not completely wild, but there is a framework you can work with. And I mean, I'm in Zug, and it's very well known that it's one of the lowest taxations. But look at what the people do and how successful they are. It's very hard to be successful in Venezuela right now. Okay, so take the opposite of that and then apply it to your life, I guess.